Hey, what's up? I'm glad I made it here. This is Sam from Bet. In this video I'll be doing my full card predictions and breakdowns and my bets for UFC Fight Night 188 Font vs Garbrandt. If you're seeing this video from Patreon, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. If you're new to my channel, I am a handicapper. I do MMA predictions. I have experience of betting MMA in the UFC for over 9 years. This video will be divided as follows. First, I'll be doing all my, telling you guys all my picks and my bets. Then on to the breakdowns. If you wish to support the channel, stick until the end. I'll show you how. All right. So guys, before starting, let me show you this. If you don't follow me yet on Instagram, feel free to start following me. I put the bets that I'm taking, some of them, not all, in Instagram at first. So feel free to start following me. You can get these early updates. All right. So like I spoke about, all the picks and the bets now. So between Damir Hadzovic and Yancy Medeiros, I'm picking Medeiros, a small bet. Claudio Silva versus McGee. I'm picking McGee. I'm not gonna be betting him straight, neither parlaying, but I'm interested in a prop bet by decision on McGee and also on Medeiros in the previous fight. Rothwell versus Chris Barnett. Strong pick on Rothwell. Pick and betting him. I think this is my biggest bet of the card. Yeah, tied up with Norma Dumont. Joshua Culibao versus Yilan Sha. I'm picking and betting Culibao, 1% of my money. Justin Tafa versus Vanderaa. I'm picking Tafa, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, picking Tafa. I'm not going to be betting the fight. Bruno Silva versus Viktor Rodriguez. Picking and betting Silva. Quite medium quality bet. Not 1.5% of my money. Dvorak versus Raulian Paiva. I'm picking Dvorak. I'm not going to be betting the fight. Felicia Spencer versus Norma Dumont. I'm picking and betting Dumont. My biggest bet of the card alongside Rothwell. Xiaonan versus Carla Esparza. I'm picking betting Esparza, 1% of my money. And also I'm interested in prop bets on Carla Esparza by decision. Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt. I'm picking betting Font, small bet. Damir Ismagulov versus Rafael Alves. I'm picking Ismagulov but betting Alves. 0.75% of my money. Jack Hermansson versus Edmen. I'm picking Hermansson. I'm not going to be betting the fight. Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Algeo. I'm picking betting Ramos, small bet, 5% of my money. Alright, guys, this is a quite big card, so I'm gonna be doing my best here to keep things concise and interesting, trying to cover some level of detail. Let me know how you guys are betting this fight, if you agree with my analysis here. So between Ismagulov and Alves, so I think everybody expected Ismagulov wins this fight because he's a taller, longer guy, way more technical, but it's quite difficult to predict, to be honest, because Rafael Alves at his best, he's so dangerous on the front foot. He's a very aggressive guy. You know, when he starts throwing, he has a legit power. He's a very strong grappler as well. You know, has powerful double legs. You know, he can drag you to the ground using his strengths. He's a high-level BJJ player. He's very dangerous when he attacks submissions. You know, so this guy is no slouch. He's no joke. I have this fight much closer than the odds. Obviously, people expected Ismagulov gonna keep on the outside using his jab, his 1-2, his body shots. He also has a very good clinch game. He's super difficult to take and hold down. You know, so I understand the hype on Ismagulov, but I think people are overlooking Rafael Alves a little bit on this fight. To me, Alves gonna take the front foot. It will depend a lot whether Alves can pace himself, try to be a little bit busier, you know, get some sprints, get inside, try to do damage and get outside and preserve his energy. If he goes like guns blazing, he's gonna guess and get finished by Ismagulov or gonna lose a clear decision. But if Rafael Alves fights smart here, he's a live dog, guys, because like I said, this guy has power, he has the offensive technique. Defensively, he's not that good, gets hit quite a bit, but offensively, on the striking, on the grappling, he's a very good level, you know. So I have Ismagulov like a -250 favorite, and the lines show Alves like a +400 dog. So I have to take a bet on Alves. I think he can come on top, you know. And but my pick is Ismagulov. I'm going round 3 TKO. I think more likely Alves gonna come guns blazing, gonna get at some point, maybe gonna get finished in the end, or you're gonna see Ismagulov in a clear decision. But like I said, guys, to me these lines, these are my calculations. This is the way that I see things. By my calculations, Alves is a little bit underrated in this fight. He can win by KO. He can submit Ismagulov, you know, if he does heavy damage on the feet, take his back or something, you know. So, like I said, I think Alves is a live dog if he comes at his best, if he paces himself. So to me, it's either a dog or pass on this one, all right? Or if you want to get this Ismagulov round 3 TKO, this may be interesting because probably there's a good value on this line as well, all right? So these are my calculations, how I see, you know, which bet I would take in each of these lines. So feel free to use this to your own advantage. On to the next fight, Bruno Bulldog versus Viktor Rodriguez. So Bulldog Silva actually should have a strong advantage here. Rodriguez, you know, he's said to be a striker. You know, he has a good amount of KOs under his record, but I'm not too impressed, if I'm gonna be honest. You know, he's a guy that tries to bang a little bit, but he's a little bit sloppy, if I'm gonna, you know, be honest here. He kind of exposes himself, comes in squared, you know, exposes his chin, doesn't pack that much power, at least from what I've seen, you know. Also, he's not the best grappler, so I think Bruno Bulldog is a much better fighter here. He's way more consistent, can bring the fight anywhere, he's very good everywhere, even though he's not an elite striker or anything. He makes up with the ground game, good double legs, can train wrestle a little bit, trains with Henry Cejudo. So he has some, you know, defensive wrestling as well. He was learning some good offensive wrestling techniques. He's very good on the ground. He has good experience, you know. So to me, it's Bruno Silva here, basically all day. But take this with a grain of salt because, I don't know, I haven't seen much on Rodriguez. I couldn't find much footage on him, but I'm analyzing what I have seen. To me, it's a quite tough matchup for him. I expect that he pushes the pace, tries to KO Bulldog, but I think Bulldog gonna shoot, get him down, probably finish him. You know, I'm going around one submission for Bruno Silva. I have him at like a minimum minus 200 favorite. I'm leaning more towards the tail end here, so to me, he's probably minus 300 favor, so I have an average here which would give minus 200, but I'm leaning more towards minus 300 favorite for Bruno Silva. So I'm also betting him, throwing him quite some parlays. I think he's a very strong favorite here. Feel free to pause here, guys. Some comments, you can free to take a look at it, you know. So in here the calculations that I have Bruno Bulldog quite strong by submission. He could KO Vicious Rodriguez as well, you know, if he takes him down, finishes with ground and pound, you know, there's a decent chance. Bulldog has good ground and pound. Could edge him on a decision, so basically he can win anywhere. If you're gonna be betting Rodriguez, TKO is not a bad idea, probably decision as well. I would bet Rodriguez myself if I can get him at plus 600 or something. Alright, on to the next fight, Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Algeo. Another tough one to call. I think people are, I think I'm back and forth on this one, to be honest. I see people betting Algeo. I think I understand why, because he's a big guy for the division, very long, and Ramos has some TKO losses under his belt. He lost his last one by TKO. But if I'm going to analyze here things, guys, I think in the striking it's quite even. Algeo may have a small edge on the striking because he's busier, he's a little bit longer. But Ramos is tricky, guys. He has good kicks, very good calf kicks. He can invent those kicks that he does. He can spin, you know. So he's quite dangerous on the front foot. I like his straight shots better, you know, Ramos straight shots. So pick your poison here. It's either Ramos a little bit sharper, but not as much volume against Algeo, big volume on the feet and always pushing the pace. But to me, the difference would be the grappling in this matchup. I like Ramos' offensive takedown, defensive takedown. He's a very good grappler, you know, he's super dangerous, taking the back, attacking chokes, you know. So I think to me, he's the favorite, you know, not by much, because we know about Algeo, you know, how tough he is. He's going to try to push the pace, but still, I think Ramos, even being a little bit smaller than him, he's going to be able to use his speed advantage, his straighter punches, and eventually take this to the ground, maybe submit Algeo or edge him in a clear decision. I ended up going with Ramos by decision. But like I said, I'm not overlooking Algeo here at all. He can bring it. He always does. He's a tough guy, like I said. You know, so if you're betting Algeo, I would be a little bit more careful because I think Ramos has more potential. You know, but still, I think Algeo is not a bad bet either. You know, and I'm also interested maybe in prop bets for this one, over 1.5. And over 2.5 rounds if the price is right, but I think this line is going to be expensive because I think people don't expect that they finish each other. But I think Ramos has more chances. Basically, this is why I'm betting him. I expect that Algeo pushes the pace, Ramos takes him down, holds him down, or submits him, or just to make it quite even on the feet, takes him down in the end. So that's why I'm going Ramos. All right, but Algeo round 3 TKO may not be a bad idea, because Ramos' problems in the past were his cardio. So I'm probably going to be playing both of these guys. I'm playing Ramos straight. I'm probably going to be doing Algeo by decision if the price is right, or even Algeo round 3 TKO. All right. So these are my calculations, guys. Feel free to pause here. Just real quick comments, as I expect this go to the decision. I have more chances for Ramos by submission and Algeo by TKO, if you're interested in any of these props. Okay. On to the next fight. Claudio Silva versus McGee. I couldn't say striker versus grappler on this one, even though, you know, McGee is not known to be a striker. Actually, probably he's known to be a striker because that's the way he fights, even though he doesn't have bad grappling. Pretty good from the top, good of defensive wrestling. But he's fighting Claudio Silva, which is a guy that basically is a very strong grappler. You know, he's an elite BJJ player, super dangerous. He's patient on the ground as well as dangerous when he attacks submissions at the right time. He has tried to evolve his striking over the years. I think this guy is very committed to his MMA career. The problem is that now he's already 37. You know, everybody knows that he has been through some nagging injuries, so it's a quite tough one for him to keep up with the other guys if he can't train. But still, this guy is for real. This guy is very tough, you know, he brings it. And probably gonna be a back and forth battle here. I expect Silva tries to use kicks, a lot of kicks. He knows that people don't, he basically can kick how much he wants because people don't want to take him down because he's such a elite level on the ground. So probably gonna see him kicking a lot. McGee gonna probably try to get inside with the boxing combinations, keeping his range, you know, defending the takedowns. Like I said, he has a very good takedown defense. He's very difficult to submit. He's tough to hold down. So we're gonna see this battle, you know, Silva kicking, shooting, McGee defending, trying to land with the boxing combinations. I'm back and forth here, guys. You know, I was tempted to pick Silva, but I don't know. I think McGee at the end probably gonna be able to stuff more takedowns more often than not and get back up. I don't think Silva submits him, even though there's a decent chance for that. So I think the safest pick here is McGee by decision. Silva could win a decision too, you know, if he wears on McGee. But I think at the end of the day, McGee by decision is there's more likely scenario, you know. Even though I have this as a quite close matchup, you know, basically pick and fight on my end as well. McGee's the dog, so it's interesting. Probably McGee by decision gonna be an interesting line. I think I'm gonna be able to get him at plus 200. So I like McGee by decision here, you know. But if you're gonna be betting Silva, I think you can take a look Silva by decision, these lines, or even Silva by submission, because like I said, he puts on the pressure. He has a good chance to finish this. These are my comments, guys. These are my calculations. So McGee is a small favorite, good chance by decision. Silva between decision and submission, to me quite even. I would put money on him by plus 400, plus 500 range in either prop. All right. On to the next fight, Yancy Medeiros versus Damir Hadzovic. Forgot to add more things here. I'll just comment. So this is another interesting one. To me, came quite as a surprise that Medeiros is the dog here. I think Medeiros has more chances to win this fight because he's busier on the feet. He has the range, you know. He has to throw away more boxing combination. I know that he gets hit quite a bit. He has his chin tested 4 times, basically got KO'd 4 times, which makes things interesting here. But Hadzovic is not the biggest puncher. You know, he's a quite tall guy, 6 feet tall, but doesn't have the longest arms. He's only 70 inches reach, whereas Medeiros is 5'10 or 5'11, has 75. So he's a pretty long guy. He has good straight shots, you know. This guy at his best, he's very dangerous. He pushes the pace, he throws straight punches, you know, has good takedown defense. He has good experience as well, you know. Hadzovic is the more well-rounded guy, can shoot a double leg, can grapple a little bit from top, you know, but I think more likely we're going to see Medeiros pushing, you know, the pace, controlling the range, you know. Hadzovic, he doesn't like to take much risks as well. He likes to be the technical guy from the outside, which he's not going to have here. Maybe he's a little bit more technical, not maybe, he's a little bit more technical than Medeiros, but he doesn't have the range, which makes things interesting. I also think Medeiros is a little bit tougher. So I'm going with Medeiros here, but it's thin edge, you know, so I have Medeiros like minus 130 favorite. The lines showed Medeiros as an underdog, so I like a little bit Medeiros. That's 0.5% of my money is throwing him in some round robins. Medeiros by decision is a very interesting bet in my opinion, because Hadzovic is a tough guy, he's not easy to KO. So probably gonna see Medeiros being busier, edging him on a decision, 29-28, could be split, but I think Medeiros has a little bit more chance. If you like Hadzovic, I think you have to expect that he takes Medeiros down, holds him down a little bit, I think gonna be quite tough, but maybe I'm wrong here. Let's see. It could be either way basically, but I have Medeiros as a small edge. Alright, so these are my comments, guys. Feel free to pause here. These are my calculations. So Medeiros at plus 250 range by decision, I like it. Hadzovic by decision is not bad either, I think Medeiros has more chances by submission than TKO, because if he hurts Hadzovic, I think he's probably gonna go for a Dars or Anaconda chokes that he always does. But it's quite difficult for me to see each other one finishing each other. Hadzovic could finish Medeiros because he's been so many wars, Medeiros, and Hadzovic has some power. He's no slouch there. So, but I don't know. I think most likely Medeiros pushing the pace and edging him in a decision. All right. On to the next fight, Alpar versus Stephanie Egger. This is a little bit quite a low level fight, to be honest. Even though, and I'm not being criticizing anyone here. I think for women actually it's quite average fight for women fighting. So Alpar, she's shorter, she's has shorter limbs, to win here she has to get inside and use her wrestling. She has very good wrestling, especially in the women's flyweight division. Not bad top control, can hold a little bit the position, she can shoot again, she's quite tenacious with this, Her problem is the range, she's not that bad striker, especially defensively, she has good timing on her overhands, she kind of holds her ground and throws down with the girls and she shoots, so I like a little bit her defensive striking, but on the front foot it's quite difficult for her because she doesn't have the range. Egger is the bigger girl here, I think she has the strength advantage as well, a little bit better striking, especially in the offensive part, better one-twos up the middle. Not bad grappler, she's a judo black belt, even though I'm not too much sold into that, maybe she's not training that much anymore. So she has quite good takedown defense, quite good grappling from her back, on the offensive grappling she's also better than Alpar, but I don't think she takes the top position here. I like Alpar's wrestling better. So, I don't know, I'm back and forth here, guys, as well. I think at the end of the day, it's either Egger keeping the range, but she doesn't have much experience, much striking arsenal to do that, I think most likely we're going to see Alpar trying to get inside, shooting, being able to hold her down. That's why I'm going Alpar by decision, but this is also another pick 'em fight. Probably I'm going to be betting this go to the decision, but this line should be extremely expensive, so probably I'm gonna be picking Alpar by this. Probably gonna be betting Alpar by decision. Probably I can find her at plus 200 would be very interesting, because like I said, she can out wrestle Egger, hold her down. Egger has more chances to finish her, so this part is a little bit. It's quite interesting. I would take Egger if I can find her inside of the distance, being either TKO or submission, plus 700. Maybe there's a chance that they can find this, because I think nobody expected one women finish each other. So yeah, let's see how this goes. But I might pick Alpar by decision, alright? So these are my calculations. I have Alpar a little bit more over the decision. Egger, quite some chance to finish her, even though Egger by decision is also the more likely Egger win. If Egger gonna win, more likely by decision. Joshua Culibao versus Yilan Sha. So Culibao, he's a former champion in other organizations. This guy's quite well-rounded. He has good striking, good range management. Can shoot a double leg, good takedown defense. Tough to hold down. And Yilan is a guy that likes to wrestle you. He has a pretty decent offensive wrestling technique, but he's not much of a grappler. So he can take you down, but he struggles to hold you down, to do something after he takes you down. The same can be said about the defensive grappling. Good takedown defense, but doesn't have much BJJ. He makes some mistakes, can be submitted type of thing. I think Culibao is a better fighter here, guys. He's seasoned. He has been in the UFC. Yilan he's quite experienced, but it's mostly in regional scenes, So you can make a strong argument for Culibao, that he's the better fighter, that he has more, high-level experience type of thing. I think we're gonna see Culibao basically controlling the range, being able to defend the takedowns or get back up. Sha is not the guy that throws a lot. Probably Sha gonna get frustrated that he cannot hold Culibao down and start getting hit. He's not gonna risk. I think Culibao also is not gonna risk too much not to get taken down. So I think we're gonna see Culibao basically edging him very clearly on a decision. So I'm also parlaying Culibao. I think it's quite a strong pick here as well. So these are my calculation. These are the bets that I would take. These are my comments. This is my calculation here. So Culibao minus 140, by my calculation. But I don't know. I'm putting like this 15% variance. So I'm leaning more towards like Culibao minus 250 favorite. So that's why I'm taking some bets on Culibao as well. All right. To the next fight, Justin Tafa versus Jared Vanderaa. Another interesting one in the heavyweight division. This one, Tafa is the more well-rounded guy. I can put it this way, as a better, he's more polished. Basically, his striking is he throws more interesting strikes like leg kicks, switch kicks, straight shots. He's a pretty good fighter, to be honest. His problem is that he's not the biggest guy for the division. 6 foot tall. For a heavyweight, it's not that tall, and he's quite short. And it's not the biggest guy as well. If you look at him, you can see that he's not the fittest guy, even though he's stronger than he looks. He has better cardio than you would imagine by the way he looks. Vanderaa is a bigger guy here on top of the weight class. 6'3", 65. But I don't know, man. I think Vanderaa, if he takes the front foot, he can win this fight. If he puts the pressure on Tafa. I'm not sure he will. He seems to be a guy that second guesses himself quite a lot, Vanderaa. I think he said himself in some interviews that he overthinks fights. Even between some fights, he tells his corner man that he's a little bit off. So this is not a good attitude for a fighter, So I think I'm a little bit concerned if Vanderaa gonna really bring it. If he brings it, I think he can defeat Tafa because he has the range. He's the bigger guy. He has not better strikes. Not technically, but I would give the edge to Vanderaa if Vanderaa takes the front foot. But guys, I'm back and forth here. I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be Tafa. I think Tafa gonna edge him on a decision because I don't think Tafa gonna risk much to try to KO Vanderaa, get KO'd himself, and I think Tafa gonna be a little bit easier. I expect that Vanderaa, tries to take the front foot in the beginning. If he cannot finish Tafa, I think he's gonna get frustrated again, But I'm overanalyzing here a little bit also on Vandeera's psychological part. I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical of him, but yeah, by my calculations, Vanderaa would be up between, could be even a favorite. Like I said, if he takes the front foot, he could be a big dog. But I think the odds make more interesting a bet on Vanderaa. But I'm gonna be passing on this one. Probably I'm gonna be going Tafa by decision when I'm gonna be betting this. Unless I can find some other interesting props, I'll let you guys know. All right. So these are my calculations. I think Tafa by decision is quite safe. But Vanderaa by TKO is more likely than Vanderaa by decision. All right. On to the next fight, Rodrigo Nascimento versus Alan Baldo. Actually, this has moved to another card. I'll skip this one, guys, so spare some time here. David Dvorak versus Raulian Paiva. This is a high-level fight. This is a very interesting one. I'm a fan of both of these guys. Dvorak showed to be a very high-level striker. This guy can hit and run. He can swing with opponents. He has the power. He has the height, the reach, He's patient, he commits when he should, he pushes the pace when he should. On the grappling, he's very good as well. I like his double legs, I like his top game, very good takedown defense, tough to hold down. Big guy for the division, always has to do, very experienced. I can say similar things about Paiva. Even though Paiva on the front foot, he's very dangerous. He's a big, tall, long guy. On the defensive part, he's, I don't like it much because his chin is very up in the air. He gets hit quite a bit. Even though it's not easy to deal with him because he's long, like I said, he has power to swing with you. But against Dvorak, a guy that it's pretty much the same height, I think maybe, I don't know who's taller here, probably they're exactly the same height. The reach also probably very similar, and Dvorak has the technique on the feet. on the feet. And Paiva, on the ground, this guy is elite. You know, I like his offensive takedowns. From his back, he's very dangerous. He's chaining submissions together type of thing, you know. So pick your poison here, guys. I like Dvorak a little bit better because most likely this will be a stand-up fight because Paiva has good takedowns, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold Dvorak down because this guy, big, strong, good takedown defense, very well trained. I think this is going to be played on the feet. I expect that Dvorak lands more often than Paiva, and Paiva with that chin up, he can get hurt, you know. Even though he's a big, tough guy, has a very strong chin, he keeps it up so high that he's going to start getting hit. He can be dropped, he can be knocked down type of thing, alright? So I'm going Dvorak by decision. The bookies have quite similar to my calculations here. I think it's a quite tricky fight to bet, you know, because Paiva has the potential, if he adjusts that chin up, if he, you know, does a better job of tucking his chin, using better side movements, he has the grappling advantage, so it's quite tricky to bet on this one. If you're gonna force me to bet, I would go Dvorak. You know, I think he has proved himself a little bit better throughout the years, but both of them are very young, as you see it. You know, so it's a very tricky one. Both in the actually, this is not right, guys. Paiva is 25 and he's alpha male. Dvorak is 28, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember which camp he is at. I think he's in some camp in Czech Republic, so this one is not correct. I apologize for this, but the rest is right. He's a big, he's tall, he's powerful. So just, I forgot here, guys, where he trains at, so feel free to Google it. You can take a look yourself. All right, so on to the next. So these are my calculations. Like I said, I have Dvorak is a small favorite. Dvorak by decision is probably the best bet, because even though Paiva has a chin up, as I said quite a lot of times, and Dvorak has power, this guy is tough, he has a good chin. On to the next fight, Ben Rothwell versus Chris Barnett. This is a quite easy fight to predict, you know. Maybe I'm not seeing something here, guys, but to me, Rothwell gonna get to Barnett's face, gonna start landing, putting him out pretty quickly. Barnett's not a bad fighter, you know, but I think it's a different level of competition here. Barnett, he's only 5'9" for a heavyweight. He's on top of the weight division, but you know, he's not the most physically imposing guy, you know, especially for a heavyweight. He can swing a little bit, but not that much power. He can use some light kicks, but if he's gonna do this against Rothwell, he's gonna eat the right hand. I think he's gonna get finished pretty quickly, you know, unless, I don't know if you guys, sorry about the noise, if you guys see something different, let me know. But to me, Rothwell is a strong favorite. I'm leaning towards 80% favorite, which would give like minus 400 for Rothwell. So I'm betting Rothwell quite confidently. If you were asking for the lock of the night, I would say that it's Rothwell. All right. So round one, Rothwell. To me, it's quite tough for Barnett. I wouldn't bet Barnett, basically, anyway here. Okay, these are my calculations. On to the next fight, Felicia Spencer versus Norma Dumont. Another very good matchup. I think people are overlooking Dumont a little bit. People are high on Spencer, but just because I think she fought for the title before. She has earned her ways from the top. She's more famous. But Spencer is basically a grappler. She doesn't have much striking. Her hands are okay, but even a little bit lower average, even for a woman, you know, in the bantamweight division. Sorry, they're fighting the featherweight division. She can try to get inside to shoot. That's basically what she does, you know, but she doesn't carry much power. She doesn't have much range. Her grappling is pretty good, you know. She's a black belt, probably. If she's not, she deserves it. But she doesn't have much wrestling. This is true. She tries to shoot a double leg, or she tries to drag girls to the ground, you know. So that's why she gets 3 stars here, you know. But she's pretty consistent. She's pretty tough. I can say the same about Norma Dumont. Even though Dumont, she has had some difficult fights in the UFC. She fought Megan Anderson. She got KO'd in her last fight against just forgot the name of the girl. When I'm talking about these videos, I always forget. So the girl she fought, darn man, she was a wrestler, you know, and she showed her good striking, good takedown defense. I think Dumont has the better hands here, and she can match Spencer's skills on the ground, hands down. She's a very good grappler herself. She's a brown belt, so Spencer maybe has the advantage here, but don't forget that it's an MMA fight, so there are strikes involved, not pure BJJ. So I think they are pretty even on the feet, because I think Dumont has a better wrestling. Both of these girls are tough. So to me, Dumont has a decent edge on the feet. I think she's gonna try to keep it standing. She showed some patience after she learned the lesson against Megan Anderson. I like Dumont to win this fight, guys. I'm going her by decision. I would have her as a minus 130 favorite. If you look at the lines, Dumont is a plus 175 dog. So to me, it's a bet on Dumont. This is my biggest bet of the card, alongside Ben Rothwell. I'm pretty confident on this one. I'm gonna be betting Dumont by decision as well. If you like Spencer, I would say go by decision, because I don't think she finishes Dumont on the ground unless Dumont guesses herself and gives her back or something, which I don't think is gonna happen. I think Dumont learned her lesson. So to me, Dumont is a very good bet here. I'm throwing quite some money on her. Alright, so these are my calculations, and feel free to pause here, take a look on these numbers. I think they're worth your time. On to the next fight, Xiaonan versus Carla Esparza. Another good fight between, let's say, striker versus grappler, even though Xiaonan is quite complete. She's the better striker here. She should be trying at least to keep it standing, because if she tries to grapple with Esparza, I think she's going to end up on her back and being controlled. I think what's going to happen here, most likely, Xiaonan going to try to push the pace. She likes to be aggressive. She throws quite a good deal in volume. I expect that Esparza stays on the outside, tries to feint, tries to get some blitzes in and shoot and take her down. Xiaonan doesn't have the best takedown defense in the world, even though it's pretty good. She's evolving, She's also a big, strong girl. So it's by no means is going to be an easy fight for Esparza, but I think Esparza has more chances. She has proved herself a little bit more with her wrestling. She's pretty good with the technique, with the explosion, with the control. From the top she's dangerous. She can grapple with anyone from top. So, and Xiaonan, she's a little bit taller here, guys, but she doesn't have the range. She has quite short arms, so she's gonna try to get inside to do more damage. If she kicks a lot, Esparza gonna time that. So I think Esparza has more chances to win if I'm gonna analyze this technically. Even though I'm going like a pick-em, I'm going more towards Esparza, 60% favorite, which would give you like minus 135, and Xiaonan would be like a plus 140 dog by my calculations. But even if you take this as a pick and fight, the value is on Esparza, hands down, because she's like a plus 140 dog. There's good value there, especially Esparza by decision. I like this bet a lot. If you like Xiaonan, we'll go by decision, because Esparza a tough girl. Even though Xiaonan has power, has the better striking, I don't think she finishes Esparza. Also because Esparza, she wouldn't risk much striking. She's gonna mostly try to out-wrestle Xiaonan. Alright? So these are my calculations. Like I said, Esparza by decision, very interesting. Xiaonan by decision. If you like Xiaonan by TKO, it's not that bad. I think I was a little bit too fond on Xiaonan by TKO. I would bet Xiaonan by TKO plus 600, plus 700 maybe. So I think Xiaonan by decision is way more likely. Maybe I just didn't calculate this too well. On to the next fight, Jack Hermansson, but versus Edmen Shahbazyan. This is a fight between a veteran and the young lion here. Shahbazyan, when he was before the fight against Derek Brunson, he was on the rise. He was with the hype. I think the hype is somehow justified, especially when he's offensive. I like a lot the way he throws his punches. Even though he's not the longest guy, pretty good straight punches, dangerous kicks, he has good power, he has the use, he has a very good wrestling game, he can chain wrestle, he can grapple very well from top. I don't like much Shahbazyan's defense because he doesn't move much basically. I think he has fought so much on the front foot that he doesn't know how to fight on the back foot too much. But he's gonna be fighting Hermansson here, a guy that can do basically everything. He has proven to be good striker. At least he's at an average in the division, which is pretty good. On the offensive part of the grappling, on his clinching, on his ground and pound, he's pretty dangerous. That's his best game. He's a good wrestler. He has a good ground and pound. He has very good submission defense. So pick your poison here, guys. If you want to reward consistency or you want to go through the potential, maybe it's interesting Shahbazyan because it's at a plus 140 dog. If you believe Shahbazyan gonna bounce back and put the pressure on, he has a good chance. But Hermansson is a guy that I will never forget this, that he broke his rib against Thales Leites, and after that he came on top. He continued grappling with Thales Leites after that and finished Leites on the round 3. It's pretty crazy. This guy is extremely tough, you know. Nobody can overlook Hermansson in this division, you know. So if you're gonna reward consistency, go with Hermansson. He has proved to be tougher, the better cardio. But Shabazzian, 23 if I'm not mistaken, yeah, 23. You know, committed to his career, lots of potential. So I have nearly a pick him. If you're gonna force me to bet, I would bet Shabazzian, but I decided to pass. I'm going Jack by decision, but it's a quite tricky one to pick and to bet as well. Alright, these are my calculation, guys. I think Hermansson by decision is a good chance. Shabazzian by decision may be the best bet here, because Hermansson can be KO'd, but it's not easy, you know. So Shabazzian by decision, I like this idea. If I can get him plus 300, I would take, you know. Probably gonna be fine, but plus 300, plus 350, I think would be interesting. Even though I have him with more chances by KO here, I think you know, Hermansson is so tough that's not gonna be easy to finish him. All right. And on to the main event, Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt. Excellent fight, guys. High level again. I like these guys a lot on their striking. Different styles though. Font, a very consistent guy with the jab, with the straight punches. Very composed, very technical, very efficient. We see Garbrandt with lots of feints, with taunting, with your powerful overhand. You know, with the, I can put it, creativity somehow, you know, because even though he's primarily a boxer, he invents some things. He feints so much, and you know, he taunts so much that I think it's quite difficult to predict this guy somehow. Garbrandt is known by his speed, by his power. You know, there's a big speed advantage over Garbrandt here. Font is a big guy for the division, tall, long, you know, pretty well rounded, very difficult to take down. He developed that throughout the years. Not bad grappler from top, you know, good double leg. He likes to put lots of pressure, lots of volume. So pick your poison here again, guys. It's either Font with his bigger style, putting more pressure on, or if you like Garbrandt, his feints, his powerful overhand, his speed. I'm back and forth here, guys. I end up going Font. I think he has a small edge because he can bring this to the ground. Even though Garbrandt is a pretty good wrestler, you know, I had to go back some fights against Henry. Forgot the name of the guy. It's not Cejudo. It's a Henry. It's a Mexican guy. Just lost his name. It was pretty in 2000, back in 2016 or 17. So Garbrandt has a good wrestling game. I'm not sure he's gonna shoot on Font because Font has a good takedown defense. I don't think he's gonna try to spend his energy on Font. But we may see Garbrandt shooting in the end of the round to try to, you know, score a decisive round. So I'm picking Font. I'm betting Font a little bit, but I'm not too confident, you know. So if you're betting Garbrandt, I don't blame you because he has lots of potential. He can win this fight, especially if he starts becoming like a plus 120 dog, plus 150 dog. I would bet Garbrandt myself, you know, end up betting both of these guys because Garbrandt's no slouch. He's the real deal. He's still, you know, he's developing. But Rob Font, you know, proved himself to be consistent. Both of these guys, amazing camps, committed to their careers. So again, pick your poison. I'm going Font because of the height, the reach, the consistency, and the more chances to take this to the ground. Alright? So guys, this will do for the predictions of the video. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and I'm just sharing you how you would like to support me on Patreon. Basically, I have 3 tiers. If you're seeing this from Patreon, you know that this is from early release, $10, you know, so you guys can make the parlays, things that I put with the current cards, alongside the future cards. This $10 come back to you pretty easily. If you like this first package plus the prop bets package for early releases is for $15, and for $50 tiers is line by line all bets that I'm taking. If you trust me or you want to know exactly what I'm doing, this is for $50. You can basically copy the strategy. Alright, so guys, again, please like, subscribe if you like this video, share with your friends. I'll talk to you next time. This is Sam from Zrodder Bet, bringing the best, most consistent and transparent betting strategy for you.